Political warfare. And in political warfare, at least in the United States of America, no one seems to get physically hurt, but feelings get hurt in political warfare. And so what we're going to talk about here is we're going to read the poetry to mix it. This is rhetoric mixed with poetry. And what we're going to talk about is, democracy, the democratic political own. And this is only theory, but maybe that's what we need in this democracy with so much confusion, chaos in politics. And we have to realize that politics is a political science. And it truly, really is a science. And the first thing I'm going to do with this is to read the definition of democracy. Democracy, the definition of democracy is government in which the people hold the ruling power, either directly or through elected representatives. Ruled by the rules. Majority rule. The principle of equality of rights, opportunities, and treatment, or the practice of this principle. That's the definition of democracy. And I want to discuss something that possibly, through theory, possibly could be needed. And this is the implementation of legislation to help protect democracy, women's rights, civil rights, LGBT rights, voters' rights, through political, now here's the clincher, which is a theory, through political malpractice insurance that needs to be a requirement for politicians. That's what a political CEO may be able to do in theory. We will be able to put money into politics, legislative, by the implementation of this political malpractice insurance. Now we all know that doctors are required to have and pay malpractice insurance because of how they affect the lives of the people they serve. Politicians also affect the lives of the people they serve. Therefore, they should be required to have political malpractice insurance. This is based on practicing or not practicing democracy in a democratic society. Okay, now, this political theory democratic process. Now we need a method to justify this malpractice, this political malpractice. And it can be the method to justify political behavior through legislation and action, regardless of political ideology. We have conflicting political ideologies, and sometimes we wonder who is practicing democracy and who is not practicing democracy based on the definition of democracy. There is a feeling that is needed of a defeated spirit of the Republican Party and some of the Democrats, and new justifiable legislation may be able to heal this broken spirit. Possible through the use of the executive branch. Okay, now here goes the point. Since we do have an idea of what we're trying to do to make democracy work better for the people. Now, here's the poem. The title of the poem is New Legislation. Politicians required to have political malpractice insurance. Okay, now we all know that doctors are required to have and pay for medical malpractice. They do not desire, but are required to pay this insurance or not practice their life-saving skills. And we want to be fair to our doctors. There is a will to heal and not kill. A doctor has a will to heal, but he still has to pay malpractice insurance. In a democracy, we are not permitted to practice communism now. It is illegal and unjustified to practice communism in a democracy. Legislation can be created and debated based on the definition of the word democracy. And here's how conviction can be gained. Conviction or exoneration can be gained when politicians prove themselves not to be or to be practicing democracy. These convictions or exonerations will or should be based on the definition of democracy. Those who are proved not to be practicing democracy in a democratic society, being a politician will be convicted of political malpractice and taken to court and judged by their peers so that justice can be served for not practicing democracy in a democratic society. Politicians have an effect on human beings just as doctors do. they should be required to pay political malpractice insurance too. That would be fair to me, you, and doctors too, who practice a science. This action would be fair because most doctors give care. And now we realize that those in power need to pay for what? They practice, like most doctors do. Politicians need to be included in paying malpractice insurance too, because of the things that they do that affect me and you. Politicians affect how a doctor can medically treat me and you. Politicians need and should be required to have political malpractice insurance too. Without political malpractice insurance, no politician should be able to practice politics or political science. We realize that politics is a political science. And in any science, there is a liability needed for those who are democratically incorrect based on the definition of democracy. They really do make a mess when they are democratically incorrect and being politically incorrect in a democratic society. Not practicing democracy in a democratic society should be covered by political malpractice insurance. This political malpractice insurance will help to weed out the crooked politicians who stray from practicing democracy in a democratic society. We are great when we work to subdue ignorance in the leadership and conquer hate. We will overcome fate to reach our destiny. And we can do this by requiring those who practice or elected as politicians to pay political malpractice insurance when they become considered to be practicing politicians. Now we're going to read another story which is called another poem. This poem is entitled, which will help further identify those who may need political malpractice insurance. And this poem is entitled True Description of a Crooked Politician Made Known. It was slander that filled that mouth with lying words. Slander, the foulest sweat of sin. The one whom this spirit